How does it feel to be useless, son? My mom said it in front of the entire family, smiling, like it was funny. I looked at her and said it feels great actually because I just stopped paying your rent. Her face went pale. My dad choked on his food and said rent. What rent? That's how he found out I'd been paying their rent for 3 years. It started when I was 24. My mom called me at 2 a.m. crying, said they were about to lose the apartment. Dad had lost his job. They were 2 months behind. She said if I didn't help, they'd be on the street. I was working 60-hour weeks as a welder, living in a 1-bedroom with a mattress on the floor, eating cheap because every extra dollar went to building a future. I sent her $2,400 that night. She said it was temporary, 1 month, maybe 2. That was 3 years ago. Every month I transferred $1,200 to her account, sometimes $1,400 when she said they needed extra. She told me not to tell dad, said he'd be too proud to accept it. So I kept quiet. I skipped meals so the transfer would clear. I turned down a better apartment twice because I couldn't afford the deposit. I watched guys I started with buy trucks and move into real places while I stayed on that matters. But I figured that's what a good son does. You don't let your parents lose their home. What I didn't know is that dad got a new job 5 months after the first one ended. He'd been working steady for over 2 years. Mom never told me. She kept taking the money, used it for her nails, her hair, new clothes, lunches with friends. I found out at a family barbecue. My cousin works at the same company as dad and casually mentioned his promotion. Like everyone knew, promotion. He'd been there long enough to move up and I was still sending rent money every month thinking my parents were one missed payment away from the street. I felt my whole body go cold. I didn't say anything that day. I went home and pulled my bank records. In 3 years, I had sent my mother $47,600. That's not rent assistance. That's a down payment on a house. That's my future. And she let me believe they needed every dollar of it. Then came Easter dinner. The whole family was there. Mom, dad, my brother Travis and his wife, my aunt, uncle, grandmother. Mom was loud, laughing. 2 glasses of wine before the food came out. Travis started talking about his new truck, a $48,000 truck. Mom lit up. That's my boy, always moving up. She reached over and squeezed his arm like he'd won an award. Then she looked at me. And then there's this one, still welding, still in that little apartment. I keep telling him to get a real job. My aunt laughed. I didn't. How does it feel to be useless, son? She said it smiling, like she hadn't been taking $1,200 a month from the useless son for 3 straight years. Like I wasn't the reason she still had a roof. I set my fork down. It feels great actually because I just stopped paying your rent. The table went quiet. Mom's smile disappeared. She stared at me like I'd pulled a fire alarm. Dad looked at her. Rent? What rent? The $1,200 I've been sending her every month for 3 years, sometimes $1,400. She told me you were about to lose the apartment. She told me not to tell you. Dad's face changed. Not angry at me, angry at her. We haven't been behind on rent in 2 years. I've been paying everything since I got the new job. Mom stood up. You're making this into something it's not. That money was for emergencies. What emergencies? You got your nails done last Tuesday. You got a new purse last month. You just had your hair colored. $47,600. I have every transfer on record. Dad pushed back from the table. He didn't yell. He didn't raise his voice. He just looked at her like he was seeing someone he didn't recognize. Like 30 years of marriage just cracked down the middle in front of the mashed potatoes. Mom tried to recover. It wasn't like that. I was going to give it back. I just asked you. You just called me useless in front of the whole family. When exactly were you planning to give it back? She didn't answer. My grandmother put her napkin down and said quietly, I think we're done here. Nobody argued. Travis tried to talk to me on the way out. You didn't have to do that at dinner. She didn't have to call me useless while spending my money. He didn't have a response. If this story hit you the way it hit me, just tap that subscribe button right below this video. I've got more coming. I drove home that night. Mom called 4 times. I didn't pick up. She sent 1 text. You embarrassed me in front of my family. I read it twice. Then I put my phone down. My transfer stopped the day before Easter and they are never starting again.